I moved across the country for work 5 years ago. My older siblings, Dwayne and Cora, stayed in our hometown, while I built a life in Seattle. After our father died when we were teenagers, Mom was left with the house, his savings, and his pension. When Mom turned 63, she mentioned she was working with Dwayne, who had recently gotten his real estate license, to organize her affairs. Last fall, our communication changed. Mom had always called me twice a week, but suddenly, she only sent brief, vague texts late at night. When I asked to video chat, she'd claim her internet was acting up or she was too tired. I offered to visit for Thanksgiving, but she insisted she was going on a cruise. Dwayne confirmed it, and I believed him. He had always handled Mom's finances. At Christmas, I sent gifts to her address. Dwayne texted, saying Mom was visiting friends but he'd give her the packages. When I asked for the friend's address, he said he didn't have it. Something felt off, but I let it go. In February, I got a call from a hospital. A nurse explained Mom had collapsed in a Walmart parking lot with dangerously high blood sugar. She'd been living in her car for at least 2 months. The temperature had dropped to 26 degrees that night. They'd found my number in her phone. I flew home immediately. In the hospital bed, Mom looked frail, hooked up to IVs. Her diabetes had worsened from lack of medication, her fingernails were dirty, and she wore 3 layered sweaters. When she saw me, all she said was, "I didn't want to bother you." The truth came out in pieces. Last summer, Dwayne convinced Mom to transfer the house and her accounts to him and Cora, supposedly for tax purposes. Once the paperwork was signed, they changed the locks. They let her stay in the guest house for 2 weeks before Cora told her it needed renovations. They gave her $2,000 and said she needed to figure something out for a few months. Mom used the money for a motel until it ran out in December. Since then, she'd been living in her car, too ashamed to tell me. I called Dwayne from the hospital. "Mom's been homeless," I told him. "She's exaggerating for attention," he replied. "We offered her an apartment." This was a lie. The apartment was a single room with a shared bathroom that cost $1,100 a month. Mom's entire Social Security check was $1,087. Dwayne had been collecting that money too, claiming he was managing it for her. I drove to what was once Mom's house, now Dwayne and his wife Catalina's. A new Audi sat in the driveway next to Mom's old Camry, which now had Catalina's vanity plate. Dwayne refused to let me inside. Through the window, I saw Mom's antique dining table, the one Dad had restored for their 25th anniversary. Catalina was serving coffee on Mom's china. I contacted a lawyer specializing in elder abuse. We filed for emergency injunctive relief and contacted Adult Protective Services. The lawyer explained that while the deed transfer looked legal, the circumstances constituted financial exploitation. 3 days later, we returned with police and court orders. Dwayne was shocked. Inside, most of Mom's possessions were gone. Her furniture, my father's watch collection, the family photo albums. Cora arrived, screaming that we were trespassing and that Mom had given them everything. We discovered they had sold her belongings through online auctions, funding a new kitchen, Catalina's car, and a trip to Europe. They had told everyone Mom was in a lovely retirement community. Their accountant, Douglas, had helped structure it all, providing documents with Mom's signature. She had signed them, believing they were routine tax forms. She had trusted her children completely. When I showed Mom the evidence, she cried silently. "They're still my babies," she whispered. "I don't want them in trouble." But I couldn't let this go. The lawyer filed civil and criminal complaints. Dwayne and Cora have been calling non-stop, alternating between threats and tearful apologies. Last night, I found Mom staring at old family photos. "I raised them better than this," she said. I looked at their faces in those pictures, thinking about how they left our mother sleeping in a car while they enjoyed her home. They stole her dignity and her trust. For that, I will make sure they face every possible consequence. They have no idea what's coming. It's been 2 weeks. Mom's health is slowly improving. Her A1C was a terrifying 11.2. The doctor said she could have died. We've got her meds stabilized, but it's like watching someone recover from months of torture. I flew her back to Seattle with me because I didn't trust my siblings. The night before we left, Dwayne showed up at our hotel, playing the concerned brother. I asked where that concern was when she was sleeping in her car in freezing temperatures. He just stared at me. Then came the gaslighting. He swore Mom wanted to give them the house and was excited about her new independent living situation. I asked if that situation was a Walmart parking lot, and he had the audacity to say she mismanaged the money they gave her. I told him to leave or I'd call security. He tried to push past me, and we had this bizarre standoff in the hallway. He finally left after I started recording him, muttering that I'd regret getting involved. Our lawyer filed for an emergency conservatorship. We also found out Dwayne and Cora had been draining Mom's accounts for years. Bank records showed over $90,000 in loans and gifts over the past 3 years. They told our entire extended family that Mom had money problems and they had to step in to protect her assets, painting themselves as the responsible children. I called my Aunt Isolda, who was horrified. They had told her mom was in a nice assisted living community that didn't allow many visitors and even sent fake updates about her wonderful life there. Isolda is now on the warpath, setting the record straight with the rest of the family. The police discovered Catalina has been wearing mom's jewelry, her wedding ring and the diamond earrings dad gave her. Catalina claimed mom insisted she take them. Mom thought those pieces were in her safety deposit box, which Dwayne also had access to. The most disturbing discovery came from the accountant, Douglas. He called me in a panic, saying Dwayne had told him mom had good days and bad days, implying she was developing dementia to justify taking control. Mom does not have dementia. After that one initial meeting, Dwayne brought all the documents to mom to sign without Douglas present. Douglas is now cooperating fully with the investigation. While Dwayne tried the Concerned Brother Act, Cora went scorched earth, sending me a 5-paragraph text calling me a jealous gold digger who abandoned the family. I forwarded it to our lawyer and blocked her. The lawyer thinks we have a strong case. The criminal case will take longer, but financial elder abuse is a felony in our state, and they could face serious charges. Mom still has moments where she defends them, saying, "I'm sure they didn't mean for this to happen." It breaks my heart. Last night, she had a nightmare, waking up disoriented and asking if she needed to go back to her car because Dwayne needed the guest house. It took me 20 minutes to reassure her she was safe. I look at pictures of us as kids, of Dwayne teaching me to ride a bike, and I can't recognize the people they've become. What family? They destroyed it the moment they decided their mother was worth less than her possessions. Court day finally happened. The night before, Mom barely slept, asking if we could just work things out as a family. I gently reminded her that they left her homeless while wearing her wedding ring. That's not a misunderstanding, it's calculated evil. In court, their lawyer, a slick real estate guy named Jeremy, argued that Mom had gifted everything out of love. He even produced a forged letter, supposedly from Mom. The judge wasn't buying it. Our lawyer presented Mom's medical records proving she was competent, her bank statements showing the systematic draining of her accounts, and the photos I'd taken of her sleeping in her car. The judge looked disgusted. The real bombshell came when the accountant, Douglas, testified. He confirmed Dwayne told him the transfers were for tax purposes only and that Mom would continue living in her home. When the judge asked Mom what she understood, she stood up, shaking, and said she thought she was just signing tax forms. Her voice broke as she described being locked out of her own home. Cora actually interrupted to say they were just trying to downsize Mom into something more appropriate. The judge shut her down, asking if a Walmart parking lot was what she considered appropriate housing. Dwayne stuck to his story but kept contradicting himself. When he claimed they'd given Mom cash, our lawyer asked what $2,000 was supposed to cover after she'd supported them their whole lives. Dwayne had no answer. Catalina was called next and lied about the jewelry, claiming Mom had loaned it to her. Our lawyer then showed photos of her wearing Mom's wedding ring months before the house was even transferred. By the end of the day, the judge granted the emergency conservatorship to me, froze all their assets, and instructed the prosecutor to review the case for criminal charges. Outside, Cora screamed at Mom that she was dead to her. Mom was shaking so badly a court officer had to bring her water. That evening, family came to my aunt's house to apologize for believing my siblings' lies. But while we were there, Dwayne and Cora went back to Mom's house and started loading furniture into a moving truck. The police caught them, but couldn't arrest them since ownership was still legally messy. The next morning, we went to the house to document what was left. The place was ransacked. They'd taken her mattress. She just stood in her empty bedroom and whispered that she just wanted her pillow back. Not the jewelry, not the furniture, just her pillow. The police added theft to the growing list of charges. We flew back to Seattle, and I've taken family leave from work. Mom still loves them. Despite everything, she still asks if we can drop the charges. I have to keep reminding her that they need to face consequences. They thought I would back down. They thought Mom wouldn't fight. They were wrong on both counts. The last 3 months have been all-out war. 2 days after we got back to Seattle, Dwayne called my boss, claiming I'd kidnapped Mom. Cora started a smear campaign on Facebook, saying Mom was mentally ill and I was manipulating her for financial gain. We got a restraining order, but that just drove them underground. In the courthouse hallway before our next hearing, Cora cornered Mom and hissed that she'd tell everyone Mom had a secret drinking problem if she didn't drop the charges. Mom doesn't drink. I pulled Cora away, and she scratched my face, then played the victim for security. A week later, Catalina reached out privately, claiming she had no idea what Dwayne had done. She showed up at our hotel with Mom's wedding ring and diamond earrings, sobbing that she never would have accepted them if she'd known the truth. 2 days after that, Dwayne appeared in our hotel lobby, screaming that Catalina had betrayed him. He lunged toward Mom, yelling that she'd regret choosing me. Mom had a panic attack so severe we had to call paramedics. We later found out why he was so unhinged. Catalina had filed for divorce and given the prosecutor text messages where Dwayne explicitly discussed hiding money from the old lady. The criminal charges came through last week: elder abuse, fraud, theft, and exploitation, all felonies. Dwayne and Cora were arrested. This morning, we learned Dwayne has been telling everyone that Mom has dementia and I've manipulated her into making false accusations. We're now looking for a new place to live, somewhere they can't find us. The The prosecutor says they are likely looking at 3 to 5 years if convicted. Their lawyers have reached out about a plea deal. Mom initially wavered, but then she told the prosecutor to pursue the maximum penalties. As she put it, they showed no mercy to me, so why should I show mercy to them? Dwayne and Cora, terrified of prison, took a plea deal. They must pay full restitution, $467,000 plus interest, over the next 20 years. If they miss a single payment, they violate probation and go straight to prison. Untangling the legal mess with the house took months, but we finally got the deed back. When we went inside, it was heartbreaking. They'd remodeled it with cheap materials, destroying its character. Mom walked through silently, then broke down in her empty bedroom, clutching the only thing they'd left, an old photo album. We sold the house. Mom couldn't bear to live there. The money is now in a trust that only I can access. Dwayne's divorce was finalized. Catalina got practically everything. They were required to write apology letters, which were self-serving, blame-shifting garbage. Dwayne wrote that they were just trying to manage Mom's assets more efficiently, and Cora claimed she was influenced and didn't understand. Neither expressed genuine remorse. Thank you, Reddit, for your support. Hug your parents. And if you suspect elder abuse, don't wait. Act immediately.